Hello and welcome to your Mining Disrupt News update for Monday, August 7th, 2023. As ever, this is for entertainment and education purposes only. Nothing, I say, should be taken as financial advice whatsoever. If you're interested in partnering with us as a sponsor, please reach out. Today, we will be covering 6 ways that FedNow could impact payments. MIT has released a CBDC source code, and Apple is looking to increase digital payments. And finally, what is the cost to mine 1 Bitcoin? Make sure you scan the QR code down here to get some information and tickets to Mining Disrupt 2024, happening in Miami, Florida, June 24th through the 27th. Okay, let's get to the numbers. I am once again looking at timechaincalendar.com, a beautiful representation of so much Bitcoin-related information. And in the top right quadrant of the screen here, we see that the exchange rate is currently sitting at $29,171 per Bitcoin. If you want to trade dollars for sats, you will get 3,428 sats per dollar. And in the far, far top right, you can see that we are 38,005 blocks away from the next Bitcoin halving. Blocks are coming in at an average time of 9 minutes and 56 seconds. We are nearly right on that 10-minute target point. And the average hash rate for the last 14 days is ticked up a little bit since the last time we checked in. For on-chain transactions, you're looking at basically the same price. Priority is 8 sats per VByte, and anytime is 7 sats per VByte. So you may as well pay that extra 1 sat for a priority. Why not? Last month, I think it was towards the end of July, FedNow came out to little to no fanfare. People weren't really talking about it outside of the Bitcoin space. If you weren't involved in payments, if you're not interested in financial markets, it kind of flew under the radar. I'm not aware of anything that is affecting me personally on the day-to-day, so I'm not sure exactly what changed behind the scenes, but we'll get into what it could usher in down the road. Maybe those CBDCs, as we've heard so much about, but there's some silver lining to that as well. Let's get into this one. I'm getting this from Payments Journal, and this is written by Carl Robertson on August 3rd, 2023. 6 ways FedNow will transform the payments industry. Digital banking has emerged as a transformative force in the financial industry, reshaping the way individuals and businesses manage their finances. One of the primary advantages of digital banking is the simplicity and convenience it offers. Customers no longer need to visit physical branches during working hours to complete routine banking tasks. Instead, they can access their accounts 24/7, perform transactions, and access a wealth of financial information with ease. I don't know anybody that's going into banks to check their balance or, as this says, do routine tasks. If you're doing a transfer from your checking to savings, vice versa, you just want to see where your balance is. If you want to change a limit because you need to draw some more out of the ATM, you're probably doing that on an app. Maybe in some rare instances you are, but the vast majority of banking that gets done is being done digitally. Last month, the FedNow initiative was launched by the Federal Reserve in the United States to modernize the country's payment system and enable faster, more efficient, and secure transactions. Roughly 3 in 10 financial institutions said 2023 will be the year they deploy real-time payments on top of the 18% of banks and the 12% of credit unions already offering them. Little side note here, a little PS. May impact the payments industry this way. Almost nothing in life is a certainty. And so anything that I read here, as far as I'm concerned, is a possibility. I don't think any of these are a ipso facto, yes indeed, this will certainly happen. 1. Real-time payments. FedNow enables instant 24/7 365 payments, allowing individuals and businesses to send and receive funds instantly. Enhanced accessibility. Small businesses, corporate, and individual customers will have access to instant payments regardless of the financial institution they use. 3. Improved efficiency. Real-time payments facilitated by FedNow will enhance the efficiency of transactions, enabling faster and smoother cash flow. 4. Support for innovation. The introduction of FedNow is expected to spur innovation in the payments industry. When was the last time the federal government did anything that spurred innovation? I will be exceptionally surprised if some startup comes along and says, oh, we were so inspired to do this new XYZ because of the FedNow payment system. I don't see that happening whatsoever at all. But on the other side of things, Bitcoin and Lightning is indeed spurring all kinds of innovation, and that is happening daily. Number 5, reduced reliance on cash and checks. Customers and businesses can adopt digital payment methods more readily, leading to a reduction in paper-based transactions. Enhanced global competitiveness. The availability of real-time payments through FedNow will enable U.S. businesses to compete more effectively in the global marketplace, particularly with the adoption of ISO 20022 standards. Carl closes this one out by saying, "It's important to note that while FedNow promises significant advancements in the payments landscape, its full impact will depend on its successful implementation, adoption by financial institutions, and the development of complementary services and technologies by market participants." And I will certainly not be holding my breath for any one of those, let alone all 3 of those, to happen. And on that very point about successful implementation and adoption, let's move into our next story because there is some real telling signal amid the noise here. This one also from Payments Journal, written by Josh Enos, and also a couple days ago, released on August 4th, 2023. MIT releases source code for CBDC architecture. Now, I've been paying attention to the news and the way that politicians speak long enough to be able to detect that there is something between the lines here. And boy, this is a loaded sentence if ever I've seen one. You ready? The work the Digital Currency Initiative has been doing is interesting and shows just how far we still are from a real, functioning central bank digital currency, said James Wester, head of cryptocurrency at Javelin Strategy and Research. Anything in the world could be classified as interesting if you label it as such. That's a real nice way of saying, okay, and shows just how far we still are from a real functioning central bank digital currency. This is like being pulled aside by your retail manager at the Gap and being told that you have areas of opportunity to work on, which is the corporate way of saying, you've got some real problems and I don't know how to say that in another way. You're going to be written up now because of these problems, but we're going to call it areas of opportunity. He goes on to say, the release of this current project demonstrates some of the design choices that need to be made to ensure a digital currency can even support the scale and interoperability requirements for the various use cases being considered. The way that I hear that is, this doesn't work, and it doesn't work the way it currently exists. The release of this current project demonstrates some of the design choices. What is it even saying? It's saying, the way this came out, the way you released this car, demonstrates that a car does in fact need wheels. It does need wheels to go anywhere that you want it to go. It's demonstrating that. By the lack of wheels, we're seeing that it needs wheels. So we've gone over the FedNow system and how that could impact payments. And then we just hit on MIT and what that may or may not mean for a CBDC. With that in mind, this next story is interesting. This story, again from Payments Journal and written by Rima Katz, is titled, Apple Taps DOOH to Increase Awareness for Apple Pay. Apple is doubling down on its payment ambitions via a new digital out-of-home DOOH campaign that spotlights its Apple Pay service. Apple has also rolled out 4 video ads, including the one below. I'm not going to play it. You can watch it if you'd like to. You can see down below the link to this very article that poke fun at some of the frustrations customers may face at checkout and highlight the ease of Apple Pay. In April, Apple launched its Apple Card savings account offered by Goldman Sachs and recently announced that it had reached more than $10 billion in deposits. The savings account has been the latest launch from Apple, who has been adding to its range of financial services products, which now includes Apple Wallet, Apple Pay, Apple Card, and Apple Pay Later. Take all of that we just heard, everything, all the stories, the FedNow, the CBDC, Apple looking to get deeper into digital payments. Keep that in your head. Now, also keep in mind that Elon Musk bought Twitter at the end of 2022. And he was recently on camera talking about how he wanted X to be the financial platform, This is something that he's dreamt about. This has been something that he's thought about for going on 22 years now. PayPal was what he originally envisioned. He wanted that to be X.com, but people didn't like it. So now that he has one of the largest social media platforms in the world, and he's rebranded to X, and he wants to make it a digital payments platform or be part of that, what we're seeing happening in real time is an extremely strong push on multiple fronts for there to be a digital and digital-only payment ecosystem that we all work within. And this is why Bitcoin is perfectly positioned to be the absolute reigning champ, the de facto king in that arena. Just to name a few points, Bitcoin is real scarcity, is digital scarcity. But when you buy some portion of Bitcoin, whether that's a few sats or 100 Bitcoin, you are buying inalienable property rights. You also have the decentralized nature of it. And maybe one of the most important things is how much energy is backing this system. There is more computer power backing the entire Bitcoin ecosystem than all of the other computer power combined. There is more energy backing the Bitcoin ecosystem than all of the energy that is backing the US Navy. There is a lot of power, energy, and decentralization that makes this thing work the way it does. I say all that because no matter if FedNow comes out and works, no matter if a CBDC comes out and works, no matter how much Apple Pay pushes or how much X wants to get into this landscape, Bitcoin is the answer to all of this. All they have to do, any of these, is go, well, I guess we've got these systems in place and Bitcoin slots perfectly into this. And now we'll finish up with an article from Crypto Potato titled, "What's the cost to mine 1 BTC for top Bitcoin miners?" Bitcoin miners have had a rocky start in 2023 after being battered by a severe market downturn the previous year. But as prices recovered over the last several months, they have been at significant capacity, according to Bernstein. This Bernstein report suggests that the 16 largest publicly listed mining firms collectively contributed to 16% of the overall mined Bitcoin. The collective mining capacity of the companies was found to be at 72 exahashes per second and is expected to amplify the capacity by 182% within the upcoming 2 to 3 years. Right now, with Bitcoin currently hovering near $29,000, 15 of the aforementioned Bitcoin miners have production costs below $15,000 per Bitcoin. The analyst leading the report stated, "With the upcoming halving, that would double the cost of production and would push a few miners to break even, assuming no price increase from here." Bernstein's report argued that the market could witness a positive momentum from the subsequent increased institutional participation in case the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, deviates from its rigid stance. In such a case, miners would enjoy enough margin room for the 2024 halving event, since the lower cost of production better the miner positioning for the Bitcoin halving impact. If you've been enjoying this content, please subscribe and like this. Leave a comment below. Keep that conversation going about Bitcoin. Help educate others about why this is the most important monetary transition that we have maybe ever seen in all of humanity. Scan that QR code down there in the bottom right to learn more about Mining Disrupt 2024 happening in Miami, June 24th through the 27th. My closing thought here is that no matter how much noise there is, FedNow this, CBDC that, Apple Pay, whatever, there is only one sound money, only one true digital scarcity. So do some research, learn more about Bitcoin. If you want to get into mining, by all means, there are thousands of hours talking about how you can do that. And at the very least, be thankful that there is never a dull week in the Bitcoin space. Until next time.